I'm not teaching, I'm publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in UK test, but 434 or 44, while you're doing leg stretching, and if you participate in the leg stretching, that is at your own risk. First exercise, both legs in front, the feet are flexed, so pull the toes in, and down to the outside, but have them together, go in front and pull the toes in. Clarifications, that is on page 15. While reading this book, you may notice blue asterisks beside some of the text. So just for clarification, this is part 434. We had done it all, we're just repeating. This means that the official text from the Home Office is either out of date, inaccurate, or a simplification. For the purpose of your test, you should learn the text as it's written, but if you want to understand more, we have published clarifications online. We receive regular feedback from readers when they come across information with study materials that they don't think is correct. For some people it creates confusion as they are not sure whether they should rely on their personal knowledge, other sources of information, or trust what they have read in the study materials. This is an unwelcome distraction from their preparations for a test. Whatever the reason for the issue in the text, when a piece of information in the material is incorrect, outdated, or obsolete, the office advice from the government is consistent. Learn the material as reproduced in the book for your test. Because we're learning for the test, not for life. We keep an online record of these issues and inaccuracies at liveintheuk.net/clarify to help our readers when something in the materials is not correct. Next exercise, one leg in, and again just to refer. This online record is regularly updated and revised. However, if you come across anything that you have concerns about that isn't already marked with an asterisk, you can email us at help@redsquirrelbooks.com to let us know. Scan this QR code to read the clarifications of liveintheuk.net/clarify. How to pass your test. Step 1. Study the materials. All the questions that can be asked in the Life UK test are based on the official study materials provided by the Home Office. The relevant material has been fully reproduced in this guide. Your official test will only ask questions based on Chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of this publication. The questions in this book are also drawn only from those chapters. Make sure you read the advice from our readers below. This comes from people who have already taken the test. Included are specific tips on the kind of things the test covers and problems previous customers have faced. Also remember, there is no substitute for studying chapters 2 to 6 thoroughly. I don't know what substitute means, but we don't need it. I think it means there's no alternative. Step 2. Take practice tests. What is an advice? Once you've finished with taking any advice, once you've finished reviewing the study materials, you should check if you are ready to take the official test by completing practice tests from this book. Where are they? You're through it, there are practice tests. From this book, not in this book. It is important to make sure that you fully understand the content and haven't just memorized information as written, or worse, just memorized the questions and answers. In this book are no questions and answers, maybe in the tests. Each of the practice tests contains 24 questions covering all parts of study materials. These questions will not necessarily be phrased in the same way as the text in the chapters. Next exercise, the card raiser. Both legs are having 90 and 90 degrees. We're going with the hands to the knee, which is behind of us, and we're leaning with the shoulder to the knee, which is in front of us. If you do not pass your practice tests consistently, or do not feel confident enough to sit your official test, then you should continue your study. I want to say, if you never feel confident enough, but you think you actually can do it, don't wait for everything till you're confident enough to do it. Sometimes you're still ready. At least if it's not dangerous to do. For you or someone else. Once you've finished with the questions in this book, additional questions can be found in our book. Where are the questions? Yeah, no questions. We stumbled across all of it. That is not a question. Check that you understand. Who is eligible to vote? That's not a question. how you register to vote is not a question. Once you've finished with the questions in this book, additional questions can be found in our book, Life in UK Test, Practice Questions. You can also access further tests with our free subscription offer at www.lifeintheuk.net/test. Although they are not the same questions that you will receive in your official test, they are in a similar format, use the same approach, and test you on the same official material. The practice tests are not a substitute for reading and understanding Chapter 2 to 6. Yeah, going to the other side. Same exercise. Step 3. Book your test. You must book your test online through the Life in UK test booking website. You will need valid photo ID, a debit or credit card, and an email address to book. You must pay the test fee when you book. When you create an account to book your test, you must provide information such as your place and date of birth, address and nationality. You must also provide your Home Office reference number if you have one. You will have been issued with this if you have had previous contact with the Home Office, for example, when applying for an extension of stay. You will have been issued with this. We will let you be issued. I don't really understand the word in that context. The following are acceptable forms of photographic ID. First, a biometric residence permit or biometric residence card. This document must be in date. Second, a passport from your country of origin. This document must be in date. Third, a European Union identity card. This document must be in date, or a travel document, and this document also must be in date. Next exercise. 1990 stretch. Nice, 1990 flex. And we go on your front. It is very important to make sure that the details you register when booking exactly match the ID and supporting documents you take with you on the day. So no one adds a centimeter and a height. If they do not match, for instance, you registered your full middle name, but your ID only shows an initial, you will not be allowed to take the test and your test fee will not be refunded. We have had lots of reports from candidates who have been turned away at the test center because of this. So there's this tiny little error which we want to prevent us from doing it. Now, and that is to write the initials wrongly. So I don't know the standard form with a second initial name. The second first name. So if you're John Joseph Doe, and when you have on your passport written John Joseph Doe, and you write now here John J. Doe, when you have a problem. Or if you write my name is John Joseph Joe, and now in your passport it isn't just John Doe, then you have a problem. So write exactly what is in the name. So if you registered your full middle name, but your ID only shows an initial, you will not be allowed to take the test. So make sure that the name you give there with the initials and all the third and fourth and fifth name or whatever is exactly as it's written there. If you have registered for the test with your married name and your ID is in your maiden name, then you must bring an original UK marriage certificate or UK spouse visa. What if someone has not married in the UK? This must be in date. Without one of these, your test will be refused and you will not receive a refund. Okay, we're going to the pigeon pose. Do this only if you already know how to do the pigeon pose. So if you changed your name because it happens through marriage, for example, then you also have to bring your UK marriage certification or UK spouse visa that you can say there. That's when you name. You will be directed to the 5 test centers closest to you when you book. You must take your test at one of these 5 centers. If you book your test elsewhere, you will not be allowed to take the test and your fee will not be refunded. I don't really know why someone should take it somewhere else than one of the 5 closest. But what's the big problem if someone does it at the other end of the country? You may have to wait a few weeks for your test appointment. The earliest you can take your test is 3 days after booking. You can cancel your test without charge up to 3 days before you test. If you cancel within 3 days, your test fee will not be refunded. You can change your test appointment using your online account. You can call the Life in UK test helpline on 0800 015 4245 if any queries have the booking process. Step 4. Take and pass your test. Make sure that you have a good night's sleep before the test and that you have eaten beforehand. Being tired or hungry severely affects your concentration and will make the test harder. Having a full stomach is also not good. So I just want to say these are not absolutely things. Maybe you have already a bit. But the most important thing is to learn it. Whether you're hungry or not, if you really learn it, you will know most of the things. So we say be prepared also. Physical and mentally, not just brainly. Be sure to arrive earlier than your appointed test time. If you arrive when your test is due to start, you may not be allowed to take your test. If this happens, you will have to rebook and pay again. If you arrive when your test is due to start, be on time and be previously there. So be there before the test start. Maybe we're going to tell that how much. When you arrive at the test center, the staff will register your details. So if they don't name a time, I at least want to say one time. I don't know it, but let's say an hour. Half an hour, hour. So don't camp there for a week, but don't just come 2 minutes earlier. Half an hour, hour, I don't know it. It would be helpful if it would be written here. When you arrive at the test center, the staff will register your details. The registration process before the test itself can take some time, as there may be many candidates to register. So they are registering you. I guess you give them then a photo ID and so on and all the things. And if there are 10 or 50 or maybe 1 million people standing there, then for 1 million people, let's say about 5 minutes, I think you can calculate for yourself. It is so much. But I actually think you can calculate for yourself. That's the reason why I'm doing it, no. Because I don't want to calculate 1 million times 5 minutes. You will be given a locker to put your belongings in. We are changing the neck. And we're doing this first 1990 and in front. For £50, maybe you can expect some hospitality. You will get a locker to put your belongings in. That's the beginning of hospitality. And you already registered? Because I was a bit wondering why £50. It's quite a lot, just for a test. So you're getting a locker. And you registered. You are not allowed to take, and that's also, so I'm doing it maybe a little bit. We are a bit late on time. And the Belgian post with you. Why I'm telling that, I want to provide a little story, a bit connection, a bit over it. So I'm telling this little story of, but we are not trying to look, what do we get here actually? Because that is the perfect way to learn it. If you have just this page, to find out what actually is happening there. But if we say in detail now, what are we getting for our £50? That's the good way to learn it. I don't know what's going to happen, so maybe it makes no sense to go like that. But we're getting a registration, so where people register, the people doing that. That costs money. And we're getting a locker if you're going there. You are not allowed to take anything into the test, including study notes, mobile phones, and wristwatches. So everything will have to go in the locker. Try not to bring too much with you. So we are not allowed to take this book with, and also not study notes. So we can't make a note somewhere and take it with us. And the people going there don't have mobile phones and not wristwatches. So if you have any electronical things, you have to put it in the locker. And try not to bring too much with you, because you have to put it all in the locker. Maybe you don't trust the locker so much. It's a £50 locker. So come early and don't bring too much stuff with you. Have not all your pockets full with stuff. And you have to put your mobile phone, wristwatches, and all the study notes and all the things away, so that you don't take anything into the test. You will take the test using a computer provided by the test center. I would like to know something more about the computer and what text things it is. 2 minutes per question. does it take so much time to bring the cursor to the multiple choice questions? You will take the test using a computer provided by the test center. You will be allowed to run through a few practice questions so that you are familiar with the test software. We're providing a computer. Do not worry if you don't know. No, we haven't just 10 seconds left. We're going into the butterfly stretch, the sounds of the feet together. We're sitting tall up, we're leaning in front. We will continue in the next part. I thank you very much and have a next time.